Hey everyone, it's Allie and welcome to the first day of Bookmas. In today's video, we are going to be talking about all the books that I hope to read during the month of December. Alright you guys, yes, welcome to Bookmas. I am so excited to be doing this for the first time here on this channel, but I do have another channel that I do post on regularly, so unfortunately there really is no way that I could do 25 days of videos on this channel and 25 days of videos on my other channel, which is all about thrifting and my Poshmark business. So what I decided to do was just do 12 videos on each channel. And if you do happen to enjoy thrifting, you can definitely head on over to my other channel, which is called Columbus Cozies, and check out videos on the opposite days over there. But I'm really excited for the videos here on this channel because I will be doing kind of a mix, I guess, of Bookmas and Vlogmas. I will be having probably about half the videos be more like sit down book chat kind of videos. I'll also definitely be doing a major book unhaul, and of course we are having a big old book outlet haul too. But I am also going to do Christmas activities. I will take you guys along with me. So I'll definitely be doing a few days in a few different towns and just getting up to more Christmas activities as well as a lot of cozy content at home. So if that all sounds good to you, do make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my content this season. But alright, as you saw from the thumbnail, I can't even hold them all. I do have quite a lot of books picked out to read this month. Who knows if I'll be able to get to them all. I usually don't get to all the books that I pull out for the TBR, but a lot of these actually are quite short. And for the first time in quite a while, my husband and I are not going to be traveling for Christmas. Normally we would drive to Pittsburgh for 5 or 6 days or so. So because of that, I think I actually will have quite a lot of time to read. I really want to balance this season of course, spending time with my family. My 2 siblings will be home from college. We have more family coming to visit. We have friends coming to visit. But in my downtime, I really want to soak up the season by reading, because just reading books that are really Christmas themed or just set in winter, it really just helps me enjoy the season even more. And a lot of these I had actually picked out last year to read and didn't get around to them. So I've really been like itching to dive into the really cozy Christmas books. But first up, we will start with possibly the shortest book of them all, and I do have like 4 or 5 that I feel like I could pretty much read just in one sitting. But this one is a collection of short stories by Gayet Atkinson, who is one of my favorite authors, and you're gonna see a larger book from her, a true novel from her in this stack as well. She's amazing. She writes all kinds of different stories, but she does have a series that follows a detective, and it's absolutely my favorite detective series of all time. That is the Jackson Brody series, if you want to look into it. But she has such a distinct writing style. I really, really love her work. And I'm curious to see how she writes a short story, because all of the books that I've read from her are quite thick, honestly. I don't really know what any of these will be about because there's not really a description or anything, but they are all, of course, set during the Christmas season. Looks like one is called Lucy's Day, and then Festive Spirit, and Small Mercies. And I have to take the sticker off, but this is actually such a cute book to display. I really do like decorating a lot with books, especially during Christmas. This one is a true novel, but I think, again, I could probably read it pretty quickly. This is a middle grade book by Eva Ibbitson, I think is how you say her name. It's called The Abominables. I have a really hard time getting that word out. But this was actually one of my favorite authors when I was younger. I've always been a big reader, aside from like college time. I feel like I never had time then, like most of us. But I grew up reading. I really, really always loved to read. And her books, oh my gosh, I probably read them 50 times. And it's been a long time since I've read a lot of those books that I would always reach for when I was in like middle school. And I have kind of been itching to revisit a lot of those that I have such strong love for. So maybe we'll do a middle grade March and I'll reread just my favorite books from when I was a kid. But anyway, this was actually the last book that this author wrote. I think she did pass away. This was published in 2013. Yeah, I really didn't read a lot of middle grade after that season of my life, so I never got around to this one, but she is absolutely a great author. But all that to say, this book is about a family of Yetis who are forced out of their Himalayan paradise. They're looking for a new home, they're traveling across Asia and Europe, and it sounds like they're just going to meet different people and probably animals along the way. And it says when they finally end up at an ancestral estate in England, they believe they've discovered their new paradise. But what they actually find is the playground of big game hunters, and the hunters have set their sights on the most exotic prey of all, the abominable snowmen themselves. Here we have another short story by one of my favorite authors. This is Frederick Bachman's The Deal of a Lifetime. I've read a lot of his books, not all of them yet. I kind of hold myself back actually from reading all of his because I want to drag them out a little bit, but I've really enjoyed every book he's written. My personal favorite is probably Anxious People, but yeah, I'd say almost all of them, if not all of them, have gotten 5 stars from me. This one sounds like it might be a little sad. It's going to be a bit sentimental, but it says that a father and son are seeing each other for the first time in years, and the father has a story to share before it's too late. And it's a cold winter's night, and the father has been given an unexpected chance to do something remarkable that could change the destiny of a little girl he hardly knows. But before he can make the deal of a lifetime, he must find out what his own life has actually been worth, and only his son can give him that answer. Frederick Bachman's books are always very poignant, I would say, and they're usually very moving, and they're just really always great stories. So we'll definitely see what he can do in 65 pages, but I'm sure this is going to be amazing too. This is another one of my favorite authors, Kristen Hannah. This is a story called Comfort and Joy. I don't think this one would be considered a novella actually, but it's definitely a shorter novel. But this one is described as a modern day fairy tale, which I really enjoy. I love adaptations of fairy tales, but it sounds like the story follows 2 different people who are both kind of in difficult periods of their life. And it says, when Joy and Bobby meet, they form an instant bond. Thrown together by fate, these wounded souls will be touched by the true spirit of Christmas and remember what it means to be a family. So hopefully there will be some kind of magical elements to it and that it won't be too sad. That is kind of the bad thing about Christmas books or like holiday books. Even though this can be a very happy time of year, it can also be a very sad time of year too. And it seems like a lot of books have some sad moments, but ultimately will end happy. I'm interested to read this one. This is by Gregory Maguire, who wrote Wicked. This is a wild winter swan. Really like that cover. Pretty sure I got this from Book Outlet last year, and the cover definitely drew me in. And spoiler, I actually am going to have a Book Outlet haul next, and I did end up picking up Wicked from Book Outlet. So hopefully I like the writing style, but the blurb does sound interesting to me. It sounds like this is based off of Hans Christian Andersen's The Wild Swans, which I don't think I'm actually familiar with that story, but Gregory Maguire's book takes that inspiration from The Wild Swans and he sets it in 1960s New York, so that sounds very interesting. And it's gonna follow an Italian-American girl's poignant coming-of-age story. And this is another decently short book at just a little bit over 200 pages. I tried to be very purposeful with my TBR and just give myself things that I thought would be a little bit more easy reads, of course fitting for the season, but I just really didn't want to like force myself to deep dive into a really thick book. Like I thought about adding Iron Flame to the list for this month, but I figured that can wait till the dead of winter when nothing is really going on. This one, oh my goodness, this cover is adorable. Little dog. This is Christmas by the Book by Anne-Marie Ryan. It just sounds like a Hallmark movie. I feel like any cover like this, it's just basically gonna be a Hallmark movie. It says that Nora and Simon have run the beautiful oak-beamed bookshop in their British village for 30 years, but of course times are tough. The shop is under threat of closure, and the holiday season is gonna decide whether or not they can stay open. But the couple quietly deliver books to residents in need of festive cheer, so they're gonna interact with all these different people in the community that have their own struggles. They're giving the recipients hope one by one, but their future is still on the line and they are going to need a Christmas miracle to have a happy ending of their own. So I think we all know how this one's gonna end, but hopefully it'll be a well-written and cute read. I certainly can't have a whole month of books like that. I need a little bit of action, I need a little bit of mystery, but if there's any time of year that I'm willing to read real cutesy stuff like that, it's this time. This is actually book 1 of the Winter Night trilogy, The Bear and the Nightingale, and I have heard really good things about this trilogy. I'm sure I really will like it, and I like that it's set in Russia. I think that's really cool. I feel like I really never read books that are set in that area. And one reviewer said that it is a beautiful, deep winter story full of magic and monsters and the sharp edges of growing up. And it says that Vasya's widowed father brings home a new wife from Moscow, and the stepmother forbids her family from honoring their household spirits, but Vasya fears what this may bring. And indeed, misfortune begins to stalk the village. This just seems like the perfect book to kind of sit by the fire and read in one night. So I'm really hoping I love it as much as other people seem to. Okay, now I think you can tell from this cover, we've got another cutesy one. This is Christmas. And this one I'm kind of excited about because it is a young adult Christmas holiday romance book. It's following two different kids who go to a New England prep school. So Finley is going home for the holidays to Oklahoma, and of course her family owns an inn, and she's super surprised to find Arthur, who is a schoolmate to her in New England. And he just so happens to be in this small town in Oklahoma, which is actually called Christmas. So Finley is going to come across some Christmas trials, and she's also reeling from some surprising revelations about her parents as well as about her former boyfriend and best friend. Old secrets and new romances, hilarious near disasters, and a Christmas miracle or two add to the fun as Finley discovers that Arthur is, well, kind of hot. So this sounds like a cute one. I think this will be a good one to read after maybe one of the more serious books. Next up we have Little Women, and I'm actually going to attempt to listen to the audiobook. I really am not an audiobook person. I really wish I was, but I just feel like the stories don't really stick in my brain nearly as well as when I read them. I'm very, very much a visual learner. But since I already know the story extremely well, I think listening to the audiobook will be fine. Hopefully it'll be fun. I know that there is a really good dramatized version of it, so I think I'll listen to that. I have read the book, but it's been a really, really long time. But I absolutely love the movie. My favorite is the Susan Sarandon version from the 90s, and it's one that I always watch this time of year. So I think I'll listen to the book over the next couple of weeks or so, and then of course I'll watch the movie as we get closer to Christmas. But if you are looking for a good gift from someone, I did get this version on Book Outlet. It is the 150th anniversary illustrated edition. So I think this one is just a really great one to display. And I was hoping when I bought it that there would be more pictures inside, although I do really, really love that. There's really not that many pictures. It's kind of just like the beginning of a chapter will have a little picture. So you can see there's a little image, and the spine is really pretty too, so you could display that way. But I think I got this for probably $6 or $7 on Book Outlet, maybe even less. This is pretty much the meatiest book of the month, but I feel like it's going to be a good one to read this time of year. And I do love Kate Atkinson, as I said earlier, and I've just really been itching to read this one. This is Shrines of Gayety. This came out, I think, last year, and this also will probably be my historical fiction fix for the month. This one's set in 1926 in a country still recovering from the Great War, set in London. So it says, in the clubs, peers of the realm rub shoulders with starlets, foreign dignitaries with gangsters, and girls sell dances for a shilling at a time. The notorious queen of this glittering world is Nellie Coker, ruthless but also ambitious to advance her 6 children, but success breeds enemies, and Nellie's empire faces threats both from without and from within. For beneath the dazzle of Soho's gaiety, there is a dark underbelly, a world in which it is all too easy to become lost. So sounds pretty interesting, and another gorgeous cover. Up next we have a thriller. I do of course love to read a lot of thrillers in the fall season, but I love them any time of year, and this one I think is set either in December or just during winter. This is One by One by Ruth Ware, who is absolutely a really great author, and she is for sure one of my favorite authors in the genre. It is set at a rustic ski chalet high in the French Alps, and 8 co-workers are there just for like a little work trip. They're doing presentations, everything's going well, but then they are snowed in, and without any sign of rescue, panic mounts, the chalet grows colder, and the group dwindles further one by one. Seems like a very Agatha Christie type of novel, and I got a feeling this will be 4.5 to 5 stars from me. Okay, and the last 2 books I actually just got today from Book of the Month. These are my December picks. So this is one that was actually a choice for the month. This is The Kingdom of Sweets by Erica Johansson. There were a lot of good options I felt like this month, but I definitely wanted to read this one because it's like a dark fairy tale. It is a reimagining of The Nutcracker, and it tells the tale of twin sisters divided by envy and magic and set against each other one fateful Christmas Eve. So the twins are Clara, who is well known through the Nutcracker story, and then Natasha. And Clara is the favorite. She grows into a life of beauty and ease, while Natasha is relegated to her sister's shadow, ignored and unloved. But one night, Natasha seeks revenge on Clara when her godfather, Drosselmeyer, brings the Nutcracker, which is enchanted and it lets you go into an alternate world. So I love that. I love when there's like reality and then an alternative world. And that world is the Kingdom of Sweets. And there Natasha finds a source of great power who is the Sugar Plum Fairy. So I don't know if the Sugar Plum Fairy is evil or what, but I think this is going to be a really good one. And it's honestly not too thick. Well, I guess it is about 350 pages, but short chapters. We love that. And then this last one, I was super happy to see that Book of the Month put it as an add-on, because even though I don't often buy books off of like Amazon or in the bookstores or things like that, I try to wait till I can get them cheaper on Book Outlet or in the thrift stores. This is one that I was definitely prepared to pay full price for, so I was extremely happy to get it for, the $9.99 on Book of the Month. This is The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. This is the second book in the Maid series, and if you didn't read that one, it looks very similar to this, but it is a red cover. I really enjoyed that book. I think I gave it 5 stars, maybe about 4.5 or so. I felt like it was written in a really unique way. I really liked the main character, Molly the maid. She's a very sweet and innocent person. I want to go into this one pretty blind, so I'm not even gonna read the blurb on the cover. But if you did like the first one, just know that the second one is now out and you can get it through Book of the Month. And not sponsored at all, but if you have never bought from Book of the Month before, I do really enjoy it. I am a pretty cheap person. I don't really like the idea of subscription services because I feel like a lot of them kind of gyp you in many ways. But Book of the Month, I do think, is quite reasonable. You can skip any month. It's a great thing to gift to someone. I think they are doing some deals right now. And if you've never bought from them before, I do have some kind of discount code linked down in my description. But all right, you guys, that was everything that I am hoping to read during this month of December. I absolutely am gonna do my best to soak in the month, spend some time with my husband and family and friends. But it's also a great month to just kind of cozy up by the fire in the evenings as it gets dark so quickly and just do a lot of reading. But I hope you are excited for this Bookmas Vlogmas season. And if you did like this video, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help my channel out a lot. But thanks again for watching, and I will see you in just a couple of days. Bye!